All right, fatty acid oxidation. Okay, so when we have triglycerides, basically what you have is a 3-carbon molecule that's glycerol, okay, and it's connected to an oxygen, another carbon, and this is where this is the fatty acids. All right. And of course, you know, there's hydrogens hanging off of here, right? On all of these, right? They all have hydrogens there, okay? To complete that. All right, and this is however long they are, the fatty acids. All right. So, okay. So in fatty acid oxidation, so we're talking about these little branches here. Those are fatty acids, not the glycerol. The glycerol we know does something else. Goes into glycolysis, whatever. So the fatty acid chain can be broken down into sets of 2 carbon molecules that will become acetyl-CoA. So the smallest fatty acid is palmitic acid. Which is 16 carbons. So if we use that as our example here, basically we have palmitic acid, which, you know, starts here. We've got I'm just going to do C's here. Okay, so these are carbons. And this first carbon, you know, it's got a oxygen off of it, oxygen, and hydrogen there. Okay, that doesn't matter. That's part of the, don't even worry about that. So we're looking at this chain of carbons, okay? So in beta oxidation, the fatty acids are broken down. So fatty acids are broken down into 2 carbon subunits. 2 carbon subunits. And from that, so from this, electrons, so high energy electrons, are released to NAD and FAD plus. Okay, so those are the electron carriers. So each of those units becomes an acetyl-CoA. That's a 2, that's a 2, that's a 2, and so on. So each of these each of those 2 carbon units becomes an acetyl-CoA. That will enter the citric acid cycle. Okay, and when it does that, we're going to get a bunch of NADs and FADs, electron carriers carrying this. Okay, so we have palmitic acid has 16 carbons, so that's 8 2-carbon molecules, so that's 8 acetyl-CoAs, and so that's going to be, 10 times 8, was it 80, something like that, 80 electrons for the electron carriers. So that's a lot of electrons to go through the electron transport chain. Okay, so as it goes through, we get about over 100 ATPs from one 16-carbon fatty acid, which is palmitic acid. Okay, because all those 80 electrons are going into the electron transport chain. Okay, so that's how fatty acids are broken down for ATP. Okay, so again, we're getting about 80 electrons to go into the electron transport chain. Okay, all right, so let's talk a little bit about fatty acid synthesis.